All right, so you're looking to hire a Tcpdump developer.
Mm,
Smart move.
yeah.
In today's world, network visibility is everything, and these folks are the key.
Oh, yeah. For sure.
Think of it like this. You wouldn't drive a car without being able to see the road.
Yeah, right.
Tcpdump developers give you that crucial vision into your network traffic so you can spot issues, boost performance, and stay ahead of any security threats.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely.
And trust me, finding the right one can be a game changer.
Oh, for sure.
So before we dive into some FAQs about hiring these developers, let me point you to a fantastic resource, theperfectdeveloper.com.
Okay.
They specialize in matching businesses with, well, perfect developers.
Nice.
And they have this cool tool called the 5 questions that can help you pinpoint exactly what you need in a candidate.
I like it.
I highly recommend checking it out. But for now, let's get back to our deep dive and address some questions you likely have. I've got an expert here who's worked extensively with Tcpdump developers, and we're going to unpack some of the common challenges when hiring for this specialized role. So first things first, what are some must-have technical skills I should be looking for?
You want someone who lives and breathes the command line.
Okay.
They should be fluent in TCP/dump, obviously, but also have a deep understanding of networking protocols like TCP/IP, UDP, and the whole gang.
Right.
Think of them as multilingual, but for networks.
Okay, Dish.
And scripting skills are gold.
Oh yeah, scripting's huge nowadays.
Python, Bash, Perl, anything that allows them to automate tasks and analyze data effectively.
Okay, so technical skills are a given, but what about the human side of things?
Sure.
Any personality traits or soft skills that stand out as being super important for these developers?
Absolutely. Remember, they're not just staring at screens all day.
Sure.
TCP/dump developers often collaborate with other teams, so communication is key.
Makes sense.
They need to explain complex technical issues to anyone, from a network engineer to, well, maybe even your grandma.
Right.
Problem solving is another big one. These are the folks who thrive on unraveling network mysteries.
Yeah, I like that. So we're looking for a blend of Sherlock Holmes and a tech wizard.
Exactly.
Now let's talk about something that's always top of mind when hiring. Salary expectations. What kind of range am I looking at for Tcpdump developers? And what factors influence that?
Location, experience, and industry all play a role.
Oh.
You might see entry-level developers starting around, say, $75,000 to $95,000 per year.
Gotcha.
Mid-level folks in the $95,000 to $120,000 range, and senior-level experts earning upwards of $150,000. And keep in mind, those are just averages.
Right.
High-demand skills can command even more.
Yeah, of course. Good to know. Now, I imagine it can be tough finding someone with all the right skills and experience.
Mm-hmm.
Are there any common mistakes people make when hiring Tcpdump developers? What should I watch out for?
One of the biggest mistakes is skimping on real-world testing. Oh,
A
interesting.
fancy resume is great, but you need to see them in action.
Yeah.
Give them a scenario, a problem to solve with Tcpdump. Can they find the right commands?
Yeah.
Interpret the output? And troubleshoot effectively. That's what really matters.
Makes sense. You wouldn't hire a chef without tasting their food, right? So real-world tests are essential.
Right, exactly.
Another question that pops up a lot is, where do I even begin my search for these developers?
Well, you've already mentioned theperfectdeveloper.com.
Right.
And I can't stress enough how valuable a resource like that can be.
Yeah.
They've done the heavy lifting of pre-vetting developers and understanding the intricacies of the tech world.
Oh, wow.
Plus, they have a global network, so you're not limited to just local candidates.
Fantastic. So technical chops, clear communication,
Mm.
and the ability to crack those network puzzles. That's what we're after.
Yeah.
But what if I need TCP/dump expertise, but maybe not on a full-time basis?
Mm-hmm.
Are there other options besides hiring a full-time employee? Absolutely. You could consider part-time developers, freelancers, or even outsourcing to specialized firms.
Okay.
It really boils down to your project scope, budget, and how often you'll need their expertise.
Okay, yeah, that makes sense. So flexibility is key.
Mm.
All right, so we've covered a lot of ground.
Mm-hmm.
But before we wrap things up, I want to make sure we leave our listeners with some really actionable advice.
Okay.
If you are ready to start hunting for your perfect Tcpdump developer, what are the absolute must-dos?
Okay, let's do a quick recap.
Okay.
First, validate their TCP/dump mastery
Right.
and their understanding of those all-important networking protocols.
Yes.
Make sure they can walk the walk. Then dive into those soft skills. How well do they communicate? Can they break down complex issues for different audiences? And remember, problem-solving skills are paramount.
Yeah.
You want someone who can think outside the box and come up with creative
Right.
solutions.
It's like having a detective who speaks fluent tech.
Exactly.
Now, you've been a champion for theperfectdeveloper.com throughout this deep dive.
I have.
But for anyone still hesitant to check them out, what would you say is their biggest advantage? Why should they be my go-to resource?
The 5 questions tool is a game changer. It takes all the guesswork out of figuring out what you really need in a developer. Answer those 5 questions, and they'll connect you with candidates who are a perfect match.
Oh, cool.
It streamlines the entire process.
So it's like having a personal headhunter who specializes in the tech world.
Yeah, pretty much.
Now, before we sign off, I always like to leave our listeners with something to ponder.
Sure.
What's one surprising thing about TCP dump developers that most people wouldn't expect? What's a hidden talent they often bring to the table?
You might be surprised to learn how often they're deeply involved in the open source community.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
Many contribute to projects like Wireshark or even Tcpdump itself, always pushing the boundaries and sharing their knowledge.
Wow.
It's a testament to their passion and dedication.
That's a fantastic insight. So not only are they skilled professionals, but they're often giving back and pushing the field forward. Well, on that note, we've reached the end of our mini deep dive into the world of hiring TCP dump developers. We hope this has given you some valuable knowledge and maybe even sparked your curiosity to learn more. Remember, if you're feeling overwhelmed by the search, head over to theperfectdeveloper.com and try the 5 questions. It could be the key to finding your ideal candidate. Thanks for joining us and happy hunting. So not only are they skilled professionals, but they're often giving back and pushing the field forward. Well, on that note, we've reached the end of our mini deep dive into the world of hiring TCP dump developers. We hope this has given you some valuable knowledge and maybe even sparked your curiosity to learn more. Remember, if you're feeling overwhelmed by the search, head over to theperfectdeveloper.com and try the 5 questions. It could be the key to finding your ideal candidate. Thanks for joining us and happy hunting.